Meghan's cruel plot against Bea and Eugenie. Princess Beatrice warns Eugenie, Harry and Meghan are using you. It's only a matter of time before they burn Eugenie again. The princesses are torn over where their loyalties lie. Princess Eugenie might be singing her love for the Sussexes from the rooftops, but her allegiance to the runaway royals has a big sister Beatrice concerned. Following revelations, the 31-year-old new mom has been covering the Sussexes' repayments on Frogmore Cottage. Eugenie threw her hat firmly into Camp Meghan last month by joining her new mentoring initiative 40 by 40. The move was met with blistering criticism from loyal royalists sickened by the tell-all antics of Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan, the Duchess of Hypocrisy. However, sources say it's not just Megxit haters who are worried. Bea thinks they are using her, says a source. Eugenie is kind and generous to a fault. Even though she's the youngest child, she was always taking responsibility for his family's many problems over the years, and peacemaking comes naturally to her. She's like the Swiss neutral zone for the royals, but there are real fears her naturally trusting nature will backfire. As the bigger sister, Beatrice, 33, has always been there to pick up the pieces when someone takes advantage of Eugenie and looks out for the people who exploit her sister's goodwill. Beatrice is always looking out for her, and this time is no different. Over the years, there have been many, adds the insider. Bea's worried Meghan and Harry could betray that trust, as they've already shown they can do. The fact that they need Eugenie more than she needs them is a major red flag for Bea. She's worried they're keeping her sweet because she's useful for them to gain information on what's being said and done within the palace. Since they've been unceremoniously cut off, the only person who talks to them directly is Eugenie, and she's sweet enough to be tricked into spilling something she shouldn't. It seems Beatrice is still very wary of her cousin and Meghan after they announced their pregnancy at Eugenie's wedding in 2018. Beatrice was furious about that, and so were a lot of senior royals, adds the insider. That was a betrayal in itself, so it's only a matter of time before they burn her again. Beatrice is shrewder than her sister, and she sees straight through Meghan and her games. Since Eugenie's wedding, Bea's been a lot more careful around Meghan. Eugenie, on the other hand, refuses to see the bad side in anyone. It's one of the wonderful things about her, but it's also her Achilles heel. The insider adds, Eugenie's lucky to have a sister like Beatrice watching her back, but there's only so much she can do to protect her from the future stress and drama. But the question now, do the York family betray the Queen by sitting with the Harkles of California, considering the Queen has always loved them unconditionally? I doubt the York family can afford to side with the Sussexes, because this would not be a divide and rule situation. Prince Andrew is walking on eggshells at the moment, and Sarah has an amicable relationship with the Queen. Eugenie is very low down the line of succession and possibly feels safe keeping in touch with her childhood playmate living across the pond. They had him stay over several times this year, so obviously they get on well with him. And I guess Harry deserves one family mentor, so who can be better than Eugenie? I don't see how this relationship can be a problem, and no doubt Eugenie has sisterly concern for Harry's mental health and happiness. Whether she approves of Meghan or not is her own personal business, but I imagine that she's being kind about her and posted birthday wishes on Instagram out of respect for Harry. I can relate to that behavior, and it proves that Eugenie has a kind and caring nature. She has seen her own father fall out of grace and the pain he's suffering, and it's wonderful that she has such an understanding and empathetic nature like her grandmother. At the end of the day, I guess it's a good thing for Harry to have the Yorks as friends, given that he is little more than Meghan's hostage, trapped in a gigantic mansion and isolated from his once close family. I think most viewers of this video who used to love dear old Prince Harry as we saw him would deep down like to see him back on track with his family. But unless his wife's vocal cords become paralyzed by all the Botox and lip fillers, the UK public will be after her blood. However, Given all the recent surgical enhancements, it's likely she could walk down Main Street of London without even being recognized. Moreover, Prince Andrew isn't doing the royal family any favors. The Department of Justice here wants to speak with him about Epstein, and Andrew didn't come out of his personal interview looking fine. As an aside, what is it with this family and their ability to grant ill-advised interviews that make them look awful? Granted, Andrew had plenty of arrogance heading into this interview, and I'd like to see him not sweat. As long as Andrew tries to stay away from any authorities, he'll be fine. Perhaps a move up to Shetland Island. What is it with Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York? They are bad news almost any day. Now Sarah's granting interviews about how close she was with Diana up until the night she died. We know Diana wasn't speaking to Sarah for some time ahead of her death, but Fergie wants to be in the news. She isn't helping her family at all by making us take even more notice of the Queen's favorite son and his family. Add in the troublemaker, Princess Eugenie, who made the decision to back up Harry's wife, Meghan, even on her disaster of a birthday plea to have women all over donate 40 minutes of their time mentoring another woman. Eugenie quickly shared on social media that she helped Meghan on her 40th birthday, and neither woman came out looking good. Meghan is sinking quickly, as Obama's snub of the Montecito couple was purposeful, and many are taking note of it. Eugenie just chose a losing side, and to add her own woes, her husband Jack was spotted that weekend on a boat with a topless woman, reminiscent of Fergie's own fun times and her friend. The Yorks don't come off well, and when they really should be quiet and unobtrusive, they rear their heads and try to command too much attention. It isn't a good look. The only one who seems to comprehend the situation is Princess Beatrice, as she keeps herself out of the news and doesn't do Meghan's bidding. Good for her. Princess Beatrice is the smart one in that family, and it shows. What it means for their futures once Queen Elizabeth II is gone isn't good. They only add to Prince Charles's woes, and he has good reason to want to edge them out of the monarchy. Charles is already eyeing up their home, Royal Lodge, in all its luxuriousness, over 30 rooms. He is reportedly thinking about removing them from that too large estate, which makes sense. Sarah and Andrew don't need a home larger than Prince William and Catherine have. The Cambridges do have 3 children, too, and they managed to live in a 20-room place at Kensington Palace. I'm sure Andrew and Sarah will make do in a smaller home. Andrew and Sarah go almost out of their way to make Prince Charles's life worse, as if he didn't have problems enough with his spare of a son. I do not think Charles wants to keep Andrew on as a working royal because Andrew's days appear to be over as a visible royal. We understand because no matter if he did assault Jeffrey or not, the photos of him with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein aren't a good look, and it appears as much so as a royal. That means that Andrew and Sarah will be hidden as much as possible, or they will have to live on their own with the money they do inherit from the Queen. Prince Charles has many good reasons for shrinking the number of working royals, too many royals causing too many headaches. Reduce the number of real royals, and that means not handing out needless titles too, and then suddenly being the monarch becomes more tenable. Is this why Prince Edward was not handed the coveted Duke of Edinburgh title that his father had promised? The thing is, it was never Prince Philip's to promise. Imagine if the Queen Mother had tied up her daughter's hands by telling the others the titles that her daughter would be gifting out. Prince Charles's reign is his. He is working with a sympathetic Prince William to ensure no more train wrecks like the second sons of today happen again. Andrew and Harry are both second sons who come off looking like they want to be king, no matter how awful they look and how arrogant they manage to appear. Being a monarch is lots of hard work, and I think Andrew and Harry would both stink at the job. I'm glad Charles is one thinking of the future along with William. They have the necessary intelligence needed to keep the monarchy working and looking good.